Hi and welcome back to the Clarinet on the Glacier Guide to Switzerland. In case you're wondering to yourself, why is he looking like quite such a complete prat? The reason is, I'm not looking like a complete prat, I'm looking like a hiker. And this is, after all, a hiking guide to the Swiss Alps. That you may be questioning if you've watched the section on Interlaken and you're thinking that it's more about strip clubs and burger bars, but no, we're heading for the Alps. And this is what hikers wear. And if you don't believe me, you're going to have to go up there yourself to find out. But anyway, today we shall look at the town of Spiez, which is about halfway along the Lake Thun to Interlaken, but is a whole lot, in my opinion, more worth visiting. Spiez, as you can see, is a nice town with a little marina next to a medieval castle, which I believe is 700 years old, and with a chapel 1,000 years old. Good stuff. It does also, however, give you an inferiority complex because, as you can see in the picture, just on the right by the marina, there's a volleyball court. The problem here is, if you've ever seen Top Gun, I mean the 1986 version, you remember the scene where they're all playing volleyball in the court and everybody is exceptionally bronzed, exceptionally fit, and everyone has a six-pack. And it's a bit like that in Spiez, if you're about 22, 23. For those of us who are a bit older and are going around in knocked off gear from an Army and Navy store, when we get there and we're sitting there on the bench after hiking some 30 odd kilometres over the past day or two and smelling a bit like a cross between somebody's compost heap and a Komodo dragon with a body odour problem, you can't help thinking that perhaps you're not really the flashiest example of humanity out there on the lake front. You're thinking to yourself, why have I been doing all this stuff? Why have I been exercising? Why have I been walking around all these Alps? Maybe to get the scenery, sure, but to keep fit? I mean, I must look like one of the worst bits of human refuse on this side of Interlaken. It does help, mind you, for getting a seat on the way home on the train, but it can give you a bit of an inferiority complex, just to warn you, in case you end up in Spiez after a hike. Best to go there before. Here's the marina, up close and personal. This is actually where a scene in the book takes place, when one of the main characters, Jessica, manages to get off with a pretty disgusting waiter she's encountered as a way of getting rid of the local police force. That probably makes no sense at all, but that's another reason why you'll need to get the book to find out just what happens. And ultimately, Spiez is at least a quiet and relaxing place. Well, for the most part. It does also house the Swiss Nuclear Biological Chemical Defence Laboratory, which is part of the armed forces, but that's on the outskirts of town. You're unlikely to run into it unless you're really looking. Here's the good stuff. This is a picture which, believe it or not, I actually took myself, and given the somewhat rubbish quality of the pictures elsewhere, you may be surprised. But I got it. It's there from Sunday morning on the way round from Faulensee to Spiez, and it shows exactly why this is the sort of place you want to visit. In the book it gets trashed a bit because there's some illegal water skiing goes on down here. In practice, it's definitely somewhere to come and see and to enjoy a good book next to. Thanks a lot and have fun.